Imagine two factories, each with its own team of workers. One factory is larger than the other. In these factories, the workers are busy making important molecules called proteins which are essential for the bacterial empire to multiply. To sabotage this protein production, two teams of spies were deployed. Team 50S and Team 30S. Team 50S had 4 spies with advanced tools while Team 30S had 3 spies who used very simple tools to disrupt the protein synthesis. In the bigger factory, Team 50S ribosomes start their operation. Each spy has a unique skill to help them with their mission. The first spy is a fake clone spy, represented by the drug Chloramphenicol. This spy can sneakily clone itself as a factory worker and intentionally sabotage the operation. This mnemonic is to signify that chloramphenicol binds to the 50S subunit and inhibit peptidyl transferase activity, which is required for peptide bond formation. The second spy is the climber Michael, represented by Clindamycin. This spy can climb high by attaching to the factory machines and cut power lines which are essential in transferring items for protein production. In other words, it can bind to the 50S subunit and block peptide bond formation by inhibiting the translocation of the ribosome along the mRNA. The third spy is a secret agent who doesn't allow food to cross the starting line, represented by the drug Linezolid. This spy acts like a gatekeeper and stops delivery trucks from driving in, and stops the operation before it has even started. The mnemonic is meant to represent that Linezolid can bind to the 50S subunit and prevents the formation of the initiation complex, which is the first step in protein synthesis. The fourth and final spy is the synergy duo couple, represented by the drugs Quinupristin and Dalfopristin. These two spies work together at the transfer center and stops it from functioning properly. This is to signify these drugs block the peptidyl transferase center and stop protein synthesis. In the smaller factory, Team 30S ribosome is doing their best to keep up. They have 3 spies on their team, each with their own unique skills to help them out. The first spy, representing tetracycline drugs, targets cycle delivery persons who deliver raw materials to be turned into protein. He used a simple stick and stuck it in the spoke of their wheels and stopped it from spinning. In other words, the tetracycline drugs can bind to the 30S subunit and inhibit protein synthesis by preventing the binding of aminoacyl-tRNA to the A site. The second spy throws pebbles in the ventilation tunnel near the exit, represented by the Macrolide drugs or thromycin drugs. These drugs bind to the nascent peptide exit tunnel of the bacterial ribosome and preventing the polymerization of specific amino acids. The third and final spy lets out mice in the factory, represented by the aminoglycoside drugs, or mycin drugs like gentamicin, tobramycin and streptomycin. This spy can both poison the food and distract the factory workers and make them produce a wrong protein which cannot be used by the bacterial empire. By simply scattering a few mice in the factories, the aminoglycoside drugs can kill bacteria by binding irreversibly to the 30 sub, leading to misreading of the mRNA, resulting in the incorporation of incorrect amino acids into protein. Poisoning the food should hint that aminoglycoside can kill bacteria, making it a bactericidal drug unlike other protein synthesis inhibitors which are bacteriostatic. Let's summarize the mnemonics and what it represents. Factories to synthesize protein represents bacterial protein synthesis Team 50S and Team 30S, represents antibacterials acting on 50S subunit and 30S subunit. Fake clone spy represents chloramphenicol, binds to the 50S subunit and inhibits peptidyl transferase activity. Climber Michael represents clindamycin, binds to the 50S subunit and inhibits ribosome translocation. Secret agent prevents the truck from entering the starting line, represents Linezolid, binds to the 50S subunit and prevents the formation of the initiation complex. Synergy duo couple represents Quinupristin, Dalfopristin act at the transfer center, block the peptidyl transferase center and stop protein synthesis. Cycle delivery people attacked represents Tetracyclines, cycline drugs, bind to the 30S subunit and inhibit the binding of aminoacyl-tRNA to the A site. Pebbles in the factory machinery represents Macrolides, thromycin drugs, bind to the nascent peptide exit tunnel of the bacterial ribosome and prevent the polymerization of specific amino acids. Poisoned food from letting mice in represents aminoglycosides, mycin drugs, bind irreversibly to the 30S subunit, causing misreading of the mRNA and resulting in the incorporation of incorrect amino acids into protein. Poisonous should hint that it is bactericidal, while other protein synthesis inhibitors are bacteriostatic. Thank you for watching. We hope that this video has helped you to better understand the mechanisms behind bacterial protein synthesis and how various antibiotics can disrupt this process.